Did you ever have a stage freak that totally made you go bonkers? Well, take this, for instance. My legs froze into icicles, and my lungs barely pushed out my chilly breath. Geez, I had never been totally scared like this in my whole life. Duh. Maybe because this was my first cheerleader competition. While standing in front of the judges, I rubbed the sweat off my forehead and tucked my sleeveless purple and white cheerleader uniform, which had a gray wolf's face on my chest. Next, I patted my short skirt before stroking my long crimped blonde hair. Well, that didn't help. Not even when the cold afternoon wind prickled my luminous light skin. God, I totally needed a chill pill. Don't worry, Jessica, said Holly. We got this. Wow. Did she totally read my mind? Tee-hee-hee. I totally knew Holly wasn't psychic, but she was totally cute. Yeah. I could pinch her cheeks all day. Holly Gomez was a transfer student from Texas. Born American, although her parents were Mexican. Her dad brought a small bakery in downtown, which was why they moved. Her mom became a baker too, and since they thought Holly was too young to join their family business, she went to school instead. Boring. But yeah, like what else could she do besides living alone at her house? I would not handle that either. When I met her, I totally knew she would be adorable for our squad. It took all my power to make Tiffany Gardner, our cheer captain, to accept her. Thank God it worked out. Not only her cuteness raised our popularity status, but she got brilliant moves too. She also took a ballad class at her old school before she moved. With a little practice with us, she totally improved. Way to go, girl. All right, ladies, said one judge. Show us what you got. I gulped with butterflies inside my belly. If only I could control my nerves instead of shaking, like a chihuahua. Remember our routine, Jessica, Holly whispered. We can still do this. Oh, bless her heart for totally being brave. Tiffany stepped forward and faced us. She may be a total redhead mean girl with creamy skin and large red lips, but under her icy haughty beauty, she knew how to keep our butts in gear. Sometimes I wished I had her confidence. Ready, girls? She shouted in her husky voice. Let us do this. The judge switched the radio on, blasting techno music into my ears. My feet rocked to the jam, then I raised up my pom-poms, shaking them in the air. We are the mighty wolves. The mighty mighty wolves. Oh yeah. Woof woof. Oh yeah. Woof woof. Tiffany and Malaya faced each other. They held out their arms and gripped each hand together. Holly walked toward the other side of the field and turned her back. After a deep breath, she backflipped across the field quickly. She jumped into the air, twirling like a tornado, and she landed on Tiffany and Malaya's arms. Super! The audience roared into a cheer. Even the judges dropped their mouths as if watermelons slid down their throats. After Holly jumped off, Malaya sprinted to Holly's previous position, while Holly approached Tiffany and cupped her hands under Tiffany's hands. Malaya dashed toward Tiffany and Holly. Unlike Holly, she reversed back flipped, letting her hands touch the ground first before her feet. She came close to the two girls, shot herself into the air, twirled her body, and then she landed on Tiffany and Holly's hands. The crowd cheered again, and the judges clapped their hands. Oh boy. Oh boy. We were totally rocking the crowd. After Malaya got off, I knew my turn was next. Fingers crossed. I scrolled to the other end of the field and faced my friends, releasing my breath. We spent months working on our stunt like a bat out of hell. And cost me broken bones and painful bruises. Thank God I totally survived my last fall. But I never gave up for the sake of my squad. This has to count as if my life depended on it. Don't laugh. We cheerleaders take our stunts seriously. Come on, Jessica. Tiffany shouted. Oh, right. I totally needed to snap out of my nervous trance. You can do it, Jessica. You can totally do it. I narrowed my eyes and turned around. With my arms up, I backflipped. The world rolled over me, spinning fast. Good thing my brain couldn't fall out of my head. I totally have done this a gazillion times. Close to Tiffany and Holly, my feet touched the ground and sprang into the air, twirling my body like a helicopter. Then my feet landed on their palms. Whoa! To keep my balance, I held out my arms, keeping both my legs and feet together. God, I kept falling off their hands like a bowling pin. Tiffany and Holly lowered me down to the ground. I noticed they were breathing hard with red faces, as if they almost had heart attacks like me. I know, right? Cheerleading was totally not as easy as it looked. We then gathered and sat on our knees like dogs. With our chins up, we howled at the orange sky like wolves. ARHWO. That was cringy, but it was part of our mighty wolf spirit. The music ended, and the audience clapped their hands and cheered out loud. I smiled at them, but that didn't cure my anxiety yet. The judges were about to decide our fate. "Thank you, mighty wolves," said the judge. "We will present the scores in a moment." How totally suspenseful. At least it won't last long. I would pee my panties if I had to wait that long. We sighed and sat back on the bleachers, where I tapped my feet on the ground with my teeth rattling. "That is so totally awesome, Jessica," said Tiffany. "Although you almost broke my hands, that is still totally awesome." Words of wisdom. I totally needed that. "Now we will announce the scores," the judge announced. Oh crap. Oh crap. Here come the scores. Geez. My breath turned chilly as the judges held up their scoreboards, each with number 3S on them. 9 points for Sharkhead High, the announcer said. Oh, thank God. My cool breath escaped from my lips. Like I was ready to get a freaking heart attack. The Sharkhead cheerleaders were awful. Like they only did amateurish jumping jacks while waving their pom-poms as if they needed attention. Geez, acting cute doesn't make you a superstar. After the audience patted their hands instead of clapping, the shark heads returned to their seats in tears. Oh boo-hoo, crybabies. What did you totally expect? Up next, 3 points. 3 points for the Ice Penguins, said the announcer. The Ice Penguin girls dropped their big mouths and cried in despair. Oh my God. Of course, they did worst. Building a pyramid with backflips equaled falling down on your ass. An easy recipe for failure. But not to be a total downer, I knew it would be amazing if they had accomplished that trick. The last girl didn't leap too high and crashed into the squad like bowling pins. It was so heartbreaking, nobody could stop laughing. Thank God that wasn't my squad. Next. 7 points each. Angry Beavers get 21 points. What? The Angry Beavers got 21 points. Damn. I totally never expected they would earn that high score. But it kind of made sense after they cartwheeled over a balancing beam and stood on each other's shoulder to form a tall ladder with their pom-poms waving. So hard to say they were impressive when they were the enemy. Anyway. The judges held up number 9's next. 27 points for the Tiger Claw, the announcer shouted. New. My fear totally came true. The Tiger Claw cheerleaders copied the Ice Penguins. Except they didn't fall on their butts. They backflipped and landed into a pyramid stance with a better balance. Damn. The Ice Penguins must be jealous. The Tiger Claws danced and hugged each other like they won the war or something. Geez. They shouldn't get their freaking hopes up. And now for the final squad, the announcer shouted. Oh. My God. Oh. My God. My legs shivered as I clung with my fists together. God. Did I totally look like I needed to pee? So nervous. I placed my hands on my face. I couldn't look at the scores. 30 points for the Mighty Wolves, the announcer's voice shouted. The winners of the 20th annual Moondale High cheerleading competition. Yucks. All my girlfriends hugged me as we whirled around like we were in a freaking twister. I screamed my lungs out, jumping with my squad. Thank God. We did it. We did it. I told you not to worry. Holly shouted. Oh woo. Holly was totally our lucky charm. I couldn't stop hugging her. After the competition, we walked into the clear parking lot outside the football field. My daddy was the town's sheriff, and he couldn't make it to the competition. But I didn't care. He saw my performance before, which counted. But the good thing about him not picking up, I get to spend time with my boyfriend tonight. We totally rock. Tiffany shouted while carrying the trophy. You better guard our trophy with your life, said Malaya. That is going straight to our gallery. Tiffany laughed. No way. I'm totally keeping this one at my house for safekeeping. Yeah. Right. I could totally guess she wanted to keep our trophy for herself. There's no freaking sot thing as I in the team. Hey Jessica, said Holly. I am going to throw a party at my place tonight. It will be our celebration. Wanna come? I bit my lip. Oh. That is so totally awesome. But Mark and I are going out tonight. Tiffany rolled her eyes as if I had assaulted her. Party pooper. You keep going out with Mark as if he is your sandwich. I smirked a catty grin. Are you jealous because I am dating the hottest hunk ever? No. But you could bring him over to party with us. Not tonight. We are heading over to Blackwood Park for AU. No. What? My friends laughed. Yeah. Like why would I bring Mark over to a crowded house party? There would be loud music, people pigging out with snacks, and lots of drinking. I am totally not a heavy drinker. If my dad knew, he would throw me in jail for a freaking decade. How could I ever listen to Mark's Prince Charming voice when all the ruckus like ruins our special engagement? And if we tried to use the bedroom, some other couple might beat us to it. Parties were not the best places for a date. If I was going to a party, I would just bring a shotgun. Hi. Girls. Oh God. Here comes the dork. Kevin Lebowski approached us, carrying a notebook. Wow. What in the heck was he wearing? A denim vest with a white shirt above long jean pants? Did he think we were still living in the 80s? With red hair and glasses. It made him look more of a total nerd. No wonder the bullies at our school kept kicking his ass like a soccer game. If it wasn't for him doing our schoolwork, he would drink toilet water every day. I sure as hell know little about him. Except he was nice and totally helpful. But don't let that fool you. Every time he finished my homework, he rewarded me with a creepy smile. Like he wanted to see me without my clothes on. Sick pervert. Sigh. Okay. Maybe I was overreacting. But I could totally tell he has a crush on me. Who wouldn't do homework for a pretty tall girl like me? Too bad. Dork. Mark was my man. My man only. Kevin held up the notebook toward me, doing his freaky dicky grin again. I wrote the notes for your next quiz. Jessica. They are easy to read. I grabbed the notebook with 2 fingers. Who knew where he got that notebook from? Thanks, sis. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to your competition. There were a lot of notes I needed to write. It's no biggie. Tiffany raised our trophy. Except we won. Kevin widened his grin. Congratulations. What are your plans now? We are going to a party at my place, said Holly. Except Jessica, said Malaya. She's going out with her boyfriend tonight. Oh. Kevin frowned as if he forgot I wasn't single. Get over it. Where are you both heading to? he asked. Ah. He had no right to know. My business. But I knew for the fact mean girls could lose their supporters. Besides, he couldn't do anything. Blackwood Park, Kevin widened his eyes. Blackwood Park? At night? Yeah. Mark said he knows a spot where nobody will bother us. I am totally so psyched about it. But haven't you heard what happened at Blackwood Park? The cops found a couple dead in there. I rolled my eyes. I know that. But nothing is going to stop me from having a good time with my sweetie. You need to stop being super suspicious. Kevin, said Malaya. If Jessica wants to have a sexy-ass time with her hunk of burning love, that is her business. You tell him. Girlfriend. Malaya Wayne was good at standing up for me. And totally tough as nails. During a tryout, we had a hard time choosing our fourth member until Malaya showed up. Because we never had an African American. Tiffany selected her straight out of the blue. Although Malaya wasn't good, we gave her time to practice so we wouldn't fail. To be honest, I totally thought Tiffany wanted a black girl on our squad to look diverse. But anyone should become a cheerleader. No matter if they suck or not. It takes great practice to raise your game. Kevin glared at her. I am serious. Why tonight? Because the full moon is coming out, said Jessica. It is going to be totally romantic. That is even worse. I pointed my finger at him. You're just being jelly. Kevin. We are going to have fun tonight and nothing is going to stop us. NGTSU. Not going to stop us. Just in time. Mark's red Ford Mustang drove into the parking lot. After he stopped, my super hottie honked his car. Sweetie. I hopped into his car and hugged him. Wow. I loved his chisel face, with greasy spiked black hair and big muscular arms. Yummy. His black leather jacket sparkled in spicy cologne, pulling me closer to his sweet lavender scent. Sorry I missed your show, he said. My part-time job was hell. That is okay. I kissed him fast. Did you win? Of course we did. Sweetie. We are totally number one. Cool. Kevin waved. Hi. Mark. Sup loser, said Mark. Don't touch my ride. Or I will knock you out. Kevin glared and turned his focus toward me. Please don't go. Jessica. It's dangerous out there. Oh God. I rolled my eyes. Geez. Stop trying to act like my dad. Just worry about my next homework. Mark will protect me. Damn right. Mark hit the gas pedal, driving us away from that loser. Nobody tells what to do. Except for my dad. And my friends. Ah. Never mind. A note from Miles Trombley, this chapter might be a little spicy. If you have comments, please let me know what you think so far. Mark drove his red Ford Mustang past the Blackwood Park sign. And up the hill through the dark woods. Geez. No wonder the people called the forest Blackwood Park. Every tree was black or something to hide from animals. At least the full moon was out, glimmering over the inky brushes. Besides being black, people thought ghosts lurked around in the woods. Sometimes even strange-looking creatures were spotted in the shadows, ready to attack unexpecting victims. Oh. Please. Just a bunch of bogus silly rumors to keep teens out from the park. Come on. I totally don't believe in super suspicious nonsense. Ghosts and monsters don't exist. Grow up. At the top, Mark parked the Mustang in front of a cliff where a cluster of lights shined like a sea of stars beneath the rising moon. Whoa. We could see the entire town up here. Oh wow. Baby. I shouted with excitement. It's so beautiful. I told ya, this spot will be perfect for our secret date. Mark placed his arm around my shoulder. My dad brought my mom up here once. That was how they scored. My lips curled up into a catty grin. And you want to totally carry on their tradition? Perhaps. He grabbed me and placed me on his lap. Wow. I shouted. You are so fast. Mark chuckled. I'll show you how fast I am. He rose and laid his lips against mine. We kissed while embracing each other. MMMMH. I totally loved Mark's kisses. His lips sparkled with a mint-like flavor, turning me totally wild. Oh. Mark. I gasped, feeling his hands rubbing her legs beneath my skirt. I'm just getting warmed up. He sat up and removed his jacket. Then he slowly pulled his shirt off, flashing his broad chest and rock-solid 6 abs. His mid-tanned skin glimmered in the moonlight as he covered himself in baby oil. I licked my lips, dying to get a wonderful taste of his delicious body. With my index finger, I rubbed around his smooth pecs, with tickling his belly. Wow. His muscles were hard as rocks. He. I would rub my face on his stomach all night. So you planned this all along? I whispered seductively, like honey dripping through my soft voice. I always made plans like this. Sweetie. He leaned closer toward my mouth and licked my lips. I giggled while licking his saliva off my mouth. Totally gross. But totally hot. I pursed my lips together, glaring into his dark, beautiful eyes. Lick me. Again. He grinned. Take off your shirt first. Then I will lick you clean. I smiled and took off my shirt, leaving my white bra. If he wanted me to take it off too, he could do it himself. While holding my head, Mark kissed the nip of my neck and tasted my chest. MMMMH. Feeling his tongue across my skin felt totally good. So soft and kind of slimy. He. I pushed his chin up toward my mouth so his tongue slid along my lips. The taste of his mouth reminded me of strawberries. So good. I licked back to get more of his yummy taste. Soon. He paused, smiling into my eyes. How about we crawl to the back for full action? My cheeks burst red. Oh boy. I knew what full action meant. Really? He stroked my hair. I want this night to be special for us. What do you say? Baby? I bit my lip, feeling nervous about going into full action in my hunk. But my lower lady part said otherwise. You brought a condom? Mark held up a green one between his fingers. I'm always prepared. Baby. I sighed in relief until I slowly smiled seductively. Then let us totally do it. We crawled to the back seat where we took off our clothes and embraced our wild fun. Goodbye virginity. My enormous yawn woke me up as I stretched my arms up. After I rose, I rubbed my eyes and realized I was still inside Mark's car. Not only that, but my hunk of burning love also wasn't lying next to me. Mark? I checked over the front seats, but no sign of him. Then I noticed the left passenger door was open. No wonder I was totally catching the chills. Maybe he left to pee outside. As I closed the door, someone screamed outside from the woods. Oh. My God. It sounded like Mark. I heard his scream before when an old woman stepped on his toe without looking. Not funny. But I knew this time someone didn't step on his foot in the forest. He was screaming in agony like something was attacking him. Hold on. Mark. I'm coming. I immediately placed my cheerleading uniform back on and grabbed a flashlight from the glove compartment before stepping out. My hunk stopped screaming after I closed the door. Hearing his screaming stopped sent a deep chill through my back. Oh God. I hoped he was all right. Maybe I should have stayed in the car and called my dad for help. Totally a bad idea. If my dad found me inside Mark's car without my clothes on, he will totally freak out. I told him my boyfriend was taking me to Burger Queen after the competition. He doesn't trust Mark. No matter how many times I bugged him to respect my boyfriend. Like I'm totally a big girl now. He doesn't have the right to tell me who I should date. And he totally has no right to bust into my personal business. I could find my baby and help him on my own. Plus, what if my dad took too long? Maybe Mark could fight anyone. But fighting against a wild animal was different. What if he got injured and passed out? Mark needed me. Through the woods. I turned the flashlight on. An owl hooted above and flew off before I looked. God. This place was already giving me the creeps. But I needed to find my boyfriend. Mark. Where are you? I couldn't remember where I heard Mark screamed from. God. I hoped he wasn't too far in the wilderness. Brew. The air breezed through my hair as my skin shivered. Maybe Kevin was right. Driving to Blackwood Park at night was a bad idea. If I had told Mark about the party, we would have gone there instead. Sure, it would be nosy and other couples would occupy the bedrooms. But I was sure Mark would kick a couple out to prepare the room for ourselves. And I tell you what. Making out on a bed would be a lot comfy than inside a car. Something shook inside a bush close by. I pointed the flashlight at the bush and saw a white rabbit jumped from it. What a relief. Still. That little shit gave me a freaking heart attack. Funny how critters could do that to people. Stupid animals. I approached a tree toward the left where a white shirt laid. Torn in half, with dirt marks all over it. Oh my God. The shirt looked the same as Mark's white shirt he wore before he took it off to show me his hot abs. Abscess. Oh wow. On the tree bark were claw marks. Bear claws, I thought. But they looked bigger. Oh. No. I got a terrifying hunch like something had attacked Mark near the tree while he was doing his business. Maybe a giant bear or something nobody discovered yet. Whatever it was. I feared it got poor Mark. Why didn't he go before he picked me up? Below my feet. I spotted footprints leading from the tree. 2 shoe prints were close to the tree. Probably Mark's shoes. The others looked like wolf prints. But bigger. Those couldn't be bear prints. Maybe wolf prints. But they should be smaller. Well. I could barely see in the dark. But I needed to stop thinking and find my freaking boyfriend. What if he was dying? I followed the tracks through the bushes. It sucked I got my skirt dirty. Mark. Where are you? Bushes. Branches. Slapping my face. But nothing was going to stop me. The footprints turned across the trail. Deeper and deeper through the woods. While following the tracks, I noticed no human tracks stretched along with the wolf prints. Maybe the creature carried Mark. But how? Bears don't carry people. They drag them, I thought. I hoped I wasn't too late. 2 miles later. I heard the rushing river coming from a slope. Tall grass stood in my path. But I marched through the brush. Below the slope was the river where the footprints stopped. In the river. Something caught my eyes. On the shore was Mark's leather jacket. I instantly grabbed it and found scratch marks all over it. Oh. No. Was I too late? My heart pounded inside my chest. I knew Mark would never throw away his jacket like trash. He always wore it whenever we go out together. Mark. I still couldn't see him. Until I spotted an old river mill house. About 2 stories tall, with a giant rotating wheel in the river. That must be the old Rochester's watermill in this park. Not to sound like a history geek. But everyone knew about that creepy place. The mill house belonged to a family who grained flour for the town during the 1800s. They were called the Roachshires. A family of 4. I thought. One night, a mysterious creature attacked their house and murdered them, leaving no bodies behind. Probably not true. But nobody knew what exactly happened to them. Some people thought aliens abducted them. And others thought a secret witch cult sacrificed them to their demon god. Freaky. Huh? Not only they vanished, but campers and hikers also said they have seen ghosts watch them from inside the house. The ghosts could be the family, haunting their only home in the woods. I sure as hell didn't believe in ghosts. No. 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 Maybe Mark ran into that house to hide from whatever chased him. He could break into any house to show off his badassness. Trust me. He was the type who could break in without giving a damn. After placing the jacket back where I found it, I walked along the river, approaching the watermill. Wow. Who would have thought an old house could last for many years? The park rangers must have cleaned the house to draw in visitors. God bless their souls for being brave. Up the stairway, I approached the front door and pulled the knob. Crap. Someone locked it. I sighed and stepped back. Mark couldn't have entered the house while locked. Yes. I said he could break into any house. Just not this one. Or maybe he sneaked into another entrance around the house. But a hefty kick should work. As I raised my left foot back, something growled above me. Oh. I looked up and saw 2 yellow wolf eyes glaring at me with a mouth full of razor-sharp fangs. That moment, I knew I would be in deep trouble. My heart pumped faster while my breath turned cold. My eyes shot wide and deep. Chilling shivers tingled through my veins, while fear clouded my head. It took me every second to realize I was looking straight at a gigantic wolf. Yet somehow it didn't look like one. It rose on 2 legs with yellow slitted eyes, glaring at my eyes. Jet black fur, bearing dagger-like teeth. And its growl sounded like a loud motorcycle engine. I have never seen a wolf standing on 2 legs. How could an animal do that? Blood dripped down its chin, which was a damn good sign it ate something. But I hoped it wasn't Mark. Dying was totally not in my category. So I turned off the flashlight and slowly backed away, hoping the wolf wouldn't jump me. Nice boy, I whispered while shaking. Nice boy. I was pretty sure wolves don't attack people if they leave them alone. Wolves are territorial creatures who don't like anyone entering their grounds. But if you totally step away from them, they won't give a damn. Well, unless they are extremely hungry. Crap. The wolfman licked his chops and strangely turned his upper lip to a grin. Was he smiling? Wolves can't smile. Right? When he held at the moon, I immediately took off like a bunny without looking back. He was totally hungry. And I knew if I stayed, I would become his dinner. Crap. I was too young to die. Help. I screamed while running through the woods. I need help. What wolf was that? Geez. My mind was too busy in survival mode to think straight. I must survive first if I wanted to find my hunk later. The branches below scratched my bare legs like claws trying to grab me. God. What a pain. But I couldn't stop running. That would only be the death of me. I looked back and saw nothing. PRRF. Did the wolf decide to leave me alone? Ouch. I bumped into a tree and fell to the ground. Damn my clumsiness. Above me, 2 yellow eyes gleamed at me from the treetop. Crap. I crawled away until I stumbled to my feet and sprinted faster. Good thing cardio was totally my dig. Especially since I am a cheerleader. Oh God. I just wanted to return home. Why was this happening to me? I hate to say it, But I should have listened to Kevin. If I die, everyone will miss me and never understand my fate. Even Mark would cry if he survived. I couldn't let that damn thing eat me. Between two trees, I tripped over a branch and landed on the ground. Why the hell was I being a klutz? My balance should be freaking better. I leaped on all fours. But two black feet landed in front of me. Then the wolf glanced at me with a smirk. Shit. I'm dead. The wolf grabbed my throat and lifted me up off the ground. I choked while using all my strength to pull his fingers off my neck. But he was too damn strong. Not even kicking his crotch made him drop me. He chuckled and licked my cheek. You. I could also smell his rotten milky breath that twisted my stomach. Screw you. I punched his face until he dropped me to the ground. With my chance after landing on the ground, I sprinted like a bat out of hell. God. What the hell was wrong with his breath? Geez. I would never eat another egg salad ever again. Just as I thought I was doing fine running, something pushed me to the ground hard. While down on my stomach, sharp fangs gnawed into my right shoulder. Awaya. The pain was freaking unimaginable. Blood sprayed into the dirt while the wolf's fangs pulled my flesh. I could only say it felt like knives inside the wolf's full mouth. God. I didn't want to die like this. Ouch. 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 Damn. My wound arched for every step I took. I couldn't stop my tears soaking down my face. To slow the bleeding, I kept pushing my hand on the massive bite mark. My blood drenched down my shirt, which totally needed a wash. No matter how bad it was, I couldn't stop. Please. God. I don't want to die. The bite mark burned like a giant freaking bee sting. How could a wolf bite burn so badly? Was there acid in his mouth? The more I ran, the more I feared passing out before I could find help. If that happened, the wolf might as well roast me over a barbecue spit. Not even stopping to take a few breaths could protect me. Shit. I had to lose the damn thing first. Oh. Thank God. I approached a large hollow tree, laying across the dirt. I crawled into the log and laid down on my back. Hissus. Damn that bite. It still burned as I rubbed it. Nobody ever told me a wolf bite burns you after an attack. This couldn't be natural. Or maybe my mind was just totally blown out of shape. Still, I was alive and breathing well. Screw home. I needed to go straight to the hospital. Yeah. Something grabbed my legs and pulled me back. No. I grabbed onto the rough bark inside and looked back, seeing the damn wolf holding my legs. Let go of me. I kicked his face until his hands released me. I crawled out from the other side and dashed off with more speed than before. At least I rested a bit to gain more stamina. Jesus. How far was human civilization? What if I was going the wrong way? I could be trapped in the wilderness for a very long time. If so, I was totally good as dead. Either way, my rushing heart told me to never give up. Yes. I spotted a road up ahead. Thank you. God. After I touched the road, I glanced around, hoping a car will show up instantly. But I only heard the wolf's howl growing louder and louder. Oh God. Please help me. All I did was watch the dark bushes, feeling my heart pumped faster as the creature drew closer. There was no more running for me. I was going to die. Before my very own eyes. Two lights shimmered into my face. I shielded my eyes as the screeching brake stopped. It was so bright. I couldn't see what kind of vehicle it was. I stared back at the woods, wondering if the wolf was still coming for me. But nothing jumped out from the surrounding dark wild. Perhaps he finally gave up on me. Thank God for that. Jessica, a man's voice shouted. A human figure stepped between the lights. He was a middle-aged man with a white mustache and a fat stomach beneath his brown coat. He took out a flashlight and pointed it at me. Is that you? Oh. My God. It's my dad. I sobbed harder as I raced toward him. Then I hugged with all the strength I had left in my shivering body. Oh. Dad. While hugging, he rubbed my back, annoying my blood. What the hell happened to you? Why are you out here? I'm sorry. That was the last thing I said behind I passed out in his arms. A bright light shimmered over my face after I woke up. It took me seconds to realize I was lying on a bed inside a white hospital room. How could I tell? A heart monitor machine stood next to my bed and found me wearing a white medical gown. And a bandage covered my right shoulder where the mark burned at. Now I didn't feel it burn anymore. Jessica, my daddy, rose near my bed and hugged me like a giant freaking bear. Oh. Thank God. I thought I lost you. I moaned while rubbing my forehead. You. My head was spinning. I'm fine. Daddy. He sat up and sniffed. The doctor said you have a large bite on your shoulder. You have lost a lot of blood. But they gave you some substitute to keep you stable. Thank God. I sighed while lying down against my pillow. Do you remember what happened? You. My head was still cloudy. I rubbed my temple, trying to remember when. Oh. My God. Mark. I swung my legs off the bed. But Daddy pushed me back. Calm down. What happened? Something attacked me. It probably got Mark. Don't worry. I will organize a search party for him. You need to rest before I take you back home. He was totally right. Freaking out won't help me save Mark. I laid back, letting the air come out of my mouth. Can you tell me why you were in the forest? Daddy asked. Dope. I also remembered the passionate moment I had with Mark in his car. If I told Dad, he would keep me in the hospital for the rest of my life. I bit my lip, trying not to answer. But since I totally didn't want to bite my lip too hard, I had to tell him something different. Thank God my daddy didn't have a bullshit detector. We went on a hike. Daddy glared. A hike? Close to midnight? I thought you were eating at Burger Queen. Yeah. 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 We did. We thought going on a hike would help us burn off some calories. It got dark before we left. Geez. He kept beaming his eyes at me. Perhaps he had a bullshit detector. Luckily. He shrugged. Did you know what attacked you? I rolled my thumbs around, hoping they would help me clear my mind up. I'm not sure. It looked like a wolf. But it was running on 2 legs. Running on 2 legs? Was it a man? No. It was a wolf. Not like anything I ever have seen. Maybe it is a man. I glared at him. I am totally serious. Dad. It was a wolf. Running on 2 legs. It attacked Mark. And it tried to eat me. I am not making it up. Please calm down. Sweetie. I will investigate. You need to rest right now. You. If it wasn't for my head spinning, I would have jumped out through the window to find my boyfriend. But I knew I could trust Daddy. Except for that time. He ate my last Twinkie. Okay. Dad. He smiled and kissed my forehead. I will be right back. I'm going to get myself some coffee. Well. Nobody couldn't live without coffee. Dad told me that once when he got grumpy on me for spilling his cup. He got up and walked out through the door. I stared at my bandage and stroked it. Still no arching pain. Maybe I should let the doctors check on it. But what was the point? The agonizing pain felt gone now. And it could be ages before the doctors come back. Just one peek was enough. When I peeled the bandage off, my face went, what the hell? The bite mark was gone. No teeth hole or even a scar on my clean skin. It still didn't burn when I touched it. How in the hell did I heal so fast? I still needed to rest. Thank God I'm alive. After my horrible weekend, I was back in high school. Yuppie. Even worse. My math teacher, Mr. Donaldson, dropped a math quiz on my desk. Oh. Come on. Seriously? Mr. Donaldson never told us he was giving us a pop quiz last week. How totally bogus. I only worked on my homework without studying for a math quiz. Like, how was I supposed to know? I think Mr. Donaldson totally wanted to make us suffer for apparently no reason. Maybe because his job was so freaking boring. Watching our faces cringe was the best enjoyment in his life. The best life I could give him was my foot up his ass. Sigh. Too bad he was my teacher. Okay. Class. Mr. Donaldson sat down behind his desk. You have 5 minutes to finish your quiz. What? Was he totally for real? No fair. No fair. He was totally lucky for being my teacher. If I sucker punched his face. Hello, detention. I picked up my pencil and stared at the paper. Really? More functions and equations? Why did we need to solve this crap? This stupid quiz wasn't on my agenda. I could barely pass addition, subtraction, and multiplication. But this was totally ridiculous. I raised my hand. Mr. Donaldson. My teacher removed his glasses and narrowed his eyes toward me. Yes. Miss Tumbleek? I placed my hand down. You didn't tell us about this quiz. Is that a problem? Like, yeah. You totally didn't tell us about the quiz before. How was I supposed to study when I wasn't aware of it? Mr. Donaldson leaned over his desk with his eyes shooting daggers at me. Well then. Miss Tumbleek. Do you know what happens when you are not prepared? Geez. His look was making my skin crawl. Something wasn't normal about him. No. You get eaten. Before my eyes. Mr. Donaldson pulled his skin off his face. Instead of meat and muscles, he has a wolf head with burning yellow eyes and sharp fangs. Covered in drool. As he growled, I wanted to get up and run out of the classroom quickly. But I felt like my butt glued to my seat. All I could do was shake my entire body while my skin turned cold. Mr. Donaldson climbed onto his desk and howled. I guess you are not prepared for this. I finally screamed when the werewolf jumped toward me. Then I caught a breath. Blinking at a superstar poster on the ceiling in a familiar sight. Oh. Thank God. I'm back home. My rapid heartbeat slowed. I sucked in a long breath and with a steady release, wiggling my body and soul deep into thick pink bed covers. It was a dream. A totally messed up dream. Now awake. My real memories returned to me. Back at the hospital. Nobody understood why I healed so totally fast. But they let me go home early without a fuss. Thank God I was back in my comfort zone. Before that totally disturbing dream. God. I must have eaten too much fried chicken last night. Worse. I could have gas that would totally melt my house down. What a second nightmare that would be. Before I closed my eyes, my freaking alarm clock beeped. Ugh. What now? I cracked my neck and picked up my clock. Checking the time. That was when my mouth totally dropped. Oh. My God. I am late. It was at 9 o'clock a.m. Totally late for school. Even my bus probably left. God. That freaking nightmare ruined my morning. But I had no time to lose. I jumped off my bed and dashed into the bathroom. Although I took a shower last night, I needed a double one to wash off my stinky sweat. Goodness. I smelled like overused gym shorts. After the shower, I dried myself off, blew my hair, and brushed my teeth. No time for makeup. So red lipstick had to do. Back in my bedroom, I put on my white shirt and skinny pink shorts. After putting on my white sneakers, I grabbed my backpack and dashed out through the door. No time for breakfast. Gotta move. Gotta move. Downstairs, I looked around. Not seeing my dad around. Damn. He must have left for work already. I totally needed him to drive me to school. Guessed I'm totally on my own. Outside, I stopped on the sidewalk and looked around for the public bus. It was my only ride to school. I dropped to my hands and feet. Then growled at the cat with my teeth together. Then I sprinted, barking like a dog. The cat took off down the sidewalk while I chased it, barking and running on all fours. Grrrr. I totally wanted to rip that cat apart. But the little bastard climbed up a tree and stood on the branch. I tried climbing up, but my fingers slid down the tree bark. I tried again and again, scratching the bark. But my nails weren't sharp enough to reach the damn cat. I barked and scratched ferociously until I noticed an old man stared at me, holding his water hose over the grass. His face was giving me the what the heck look. And he doesn't seem concerned about his running water. Huh? I snapped out of my strange trance by blinking my eyes. I got up and found dirt covering my nails. Oh no. Not my beautiful nails. I didn't have time for a quick makeover. And what the hell came over me? I hate cats. But I never chased them like a dog before. Awaya. No time to waste. Sorry. I waved to the old man and dashed off his lawn. Running to school should be my priority. While strolling through downtown, I still couldn't find a freaking public bus. Geez. Why did my daddy left so early? On my wristwatch, the time was 9:30 a.m. Damn. This was getting totally annoying. God. I wished I could call a taxi. But with only $2 for one bus ride, I wouldn't make it to one block. Why couldn't my dad let me drive? Across the street, a car suddenly stopped in front of me. Crap. That totally jump-started my heart. Hey, the driver shouted. Get out of the way. I glared at the driver and barked like a dog. The driver continued honking. Did you hear me? Get off the street. I kept barking until the car drove past me. Crazy stupid girl, the driver shouted. After my brain snapped back to existence, I rushed to the other side of the street. Into a park in front of the courthouse. God. What was wrong with me? I just needed to keep moving. The park was only a big open green field with a few bushes and one tree. Usually, a good place where families hang out for picnics and other social activities. Near the sidewalk, a boy threw a frisbee into the air. His dog sprinted after it and jumped to catch the frisbee. The dog landed and carried the frisbee back to the boy. How cute! When the boy tossed the frisbee, I dashed for it. I leaped over the dog and caught the frisbee with my mouth before I landed on all fours. MMMH. How chewy. Hey. The boy ran up to me as I chewed on his frisbee. That doesn't belong to you. Give it back. No. My frisbee. Mine. Give it back. To give him my point, I growled, flashing my teeth. My growl was so sharp. The boy wet his pants and ran off crying. Mom. Hee hee hee. I showed him. I continued to chew on the frisbee until I sniffed barbecue roasted meat, watering my mouth. On the street, a lunch truck drove by the park, leaving a trail of the delicious barbecue smell. Yummy. I dropped the frisbee and dashed to the street after the truck. My stomach growled, begging me to get a good bite of meat. In the middle of an intersection, a blue car slammed into me, hitting my head. I landed on the sidewalk after the car stopped. Ouch! I cried. The driver quickly hopped out. Are you okay? I got up while rubbing my forehead. I couldn't remember why I ran. Something to do with the smell, I guessed. But it kept fading in and out from my head. Are you okay? The driver shouted again. I checked myself. No scratches or bruises. Not even my bones cracked. How odd. I think so. The driver sighed. Thank God. Can you please give me a ride to school? I asked, giving him my puppy eyes. I am late for school. The driver smiled. Sure. He better give me a ride. That scared look on his face told me he didn't want to get sued. He was lucky I didn't have a lawyer. A note from Miles Trombley: I forgot to post this chapter yesterday. While sitting next to the driver, I couldn't stop thinking about what was wrong with me. I had no control when I totally chased a cat, barked at a car, and stolen a kid's frisbee with dog drool all over it. Yuck. I could still taste it in my mouth. The driver stopped his car in the parking lot near my high school. Thank God I didn't need to walk further from downtown. What if I bite a guy's butt or pee on a fire hydrant? When I got out, I waved to the driver. Thank you. He waved back and drove off. What a totally nice guy. Obviously, he didn't want me to sue him. If my dad was here, that man would never see the light of day ever again. My watch now said it was 10 a.m. Math was my first session, and it usually ends in half an hour. Sweet. I don't have to stay in that boring class for long. Hurrah for me. I walked up the steps and pushed the door. But it didn't open. What the hell? Oh crap. I totally forgot the school locked the doors after the bell rings. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? To find another way in. Not like I was trespassing. I circled around the building. The back only has one window open, which was totally good enough for me. I squatted and leaped into the window, grabbing on the ledge, and climbed through. Years of jumping jack could totally turn you into a frog. Inside, I landed on the ceramic tile floor and rose slowly, standing between rows of blue lockers. It must be a locker room. Probably close to the P.E. gym. Have you seen Amelie at the party last night? Said a male's voice from an open door where steam clouded out from. Yeah. Dude, shouted another male voice. She got the biggest ass I ever have seen. Oh crap. I climbed into the boys' locker room. If I get caught, my action will screw my life. Instead of hiding, I ran straight to the exit. The smartest thing to do. Right? I reached the door, but it opened as a tall middle-aged man stepped in, glaring at me. Crap. Coach Hogan. How could I tell? Well, he was the only biggest man at our school, wearing a white tank top and jeans pants. A red baseball cap covered his bald head, but not his hairy big-ass arms. I swore he came from prison. If that was true, our school was totally nuts. I gulped, knowing I was now screwed. Damn. I was totally screwed. Sitting in the office was like waiting for the electric chair. All I could do was watch the secretary tap on her computer like she was playing the piano. You. How could she totally type with those long red fingernails? And those enormous glasses on her bony face reminded me of my grandmother. God bless her. My grandmother. I meant. She passed away 3 years ago. Sigh. God. The typing noises kept ringing through my freaking ears. I covered my ears, only signaling the secretary to pause at me with an awkward look. I lowered my hands to avoid her glaring look on me. Geez. I guessed listening to her tapping fingers was better than staring at her angry face. The secretary shrugged and continued to type on her computer. Ah crap. Not her noise again. Jessica. You can come in now, the principal shouted from his office. Finally. I walked into the office where Principal Hartman sat behind his desk, drinking a cup of coffee. He was a fat man in a white shirt and overall pants. And being half bald can make an old man look terrible. Please sit down. My heart raced as I sat down. In a few minutes, my death sentence was about to come straight out of his mouth. Jessica. Can you please tell me why you were in the boys' locker room? Hartman asked. Okay. I had to be totally honest with him. Or else he would classify me as a pervert. That would totally ruin my cheerleading career here. Why? You locked the freaking front door. What else was I supposed to do? You know. It is part of my policy to close the doors when school starts. That way the students will not be late for school. I don't like students coming here late. It makes my school look bad. But what am I supposed to do if I cannot get in? I know it is my fault for being late. But I totally don't want to get flanked. I understand. But this is how our school works. What I am doing is teaching you kids how rough life is. If you don't make it on time, then you have to suffer for it. Sneaking into the boys' locker room doesn't give you the excuse to get in while you are late. If you cannot get in, then you will miss school. Understand? Oh my God. That was totally stupid. Being late shouldn't matter at all. Most of us still come on time with our freaking pants down sometimes. But we shouldn't suffer for it. What was the point if we keep missing our classes? And for the record, I got sick and tired of staying at home since I left the hospital. My friends needed to know what happened to my poor Hucky. Mark. They must be worrying after they heard the news. Anyway, I had to stay on the principal's good side. Even if he was being a total dick. Yes. Sir. I'll give you one chance here, said Hartman. If you get into mischief again here, you will be in detention. Understand? I nodded. Geez. My entire day better not get totally worse later. Lunchtime. If only the line wasn't too damn long. God. The line ended inside the hallway. How hungry was everyone? My stomach grumbled like an angry lion. If the line doesn't move faster, I'm going to eat someone soon. God. The food smelled so yummy. Finally, I approached the food counter where the lunch lady gazed at me. What will it be? Miss? The usual, I said. She placed a salad bowl and 1 apple juice carton on my tray. Enjoy. Yeah. I better enjoy it. I'm starving like a hungry wolf. From the counter, I scanned the cafeteria and spotted my friends at the corner table. Good spot to avoid the weirdos trying to take our phone numbers. We cheerleaders know where to handle our businesses. How are you doing, Jessica? Tiffany asked when I sat down. Sorry. What happened to Mark? Are the cops still looking for him? I stirred my fork in my salad. I guess. I have heard no reports yet. Don't worry, said Malaya. Mark is a strong guy. I'm sure he will turn up soon. You should have gone to our party. Holly bit her peanut butter sandwich. That forest is dangerous. What exactly happened there? Tiffany asked. Some kind of animal attacked us, I answered. An animal? Holly asked. Yeah. But it is weird. It looked like a wolf. But it was walking on 2 feet. Like a werewolf? Holly asked. Tiffany widened her eyes at her. A what? A werewolf. Have you ever seen the movie? The Wolfman in New York? I shook my head. It is about a journalist who gets bitten by a wolf, Holly explained. After he returns to New York, he transforms into a wolf monster and attacks people. It is a good movie. What does that have to do with the animal who attacked me? I asked. Holly nibbled her carrot like a bunny. Well, the way you had described the animal. It reminded me of that movie. You should watch it. Werewolves don't exist. Holly, said Tiffany. A man probably attacked her. She could be right. But I swore the creature looked totally real. If it was a man in a costume, I would have seen a zipper or rubber skin beneath the fur coat. And how could his yellow eyes glow in the shadows? Maybe they were headlights or something. Not to mention, the bite ripping through my skin hurt extremely badly. Did he put knives in his mouth too? Geez. I could never forget that. So in the movie, the journalist got turned because the wolf totally bit him? I asked. Holly sipped her milk. Yes. It is the most cliché thing in horror movie history. Once you get bitten, you are totally screwed. God. My stomach rumbled like boiling eggs. If the wolf creature bit me, does that mean I will become one too? Come on. It was only a stupid movie. I must be over-exaggerating myself. Geez. Holly, said Tiffany. Don't scare Jessica. She has been through enough. Yeah. Like totally true. At least I don't wet my pants when I watch horror flicks, said Holly. Oh. That burst out of my laughter. I giggled while I slipped my lettuce into my mouth. Maybe I should tell Holly to try on diapers when she— oh God. What did I eat? I spat out the lettuce in front of Tiffany. She barely jumped off her seat while her eyes were on my green spit. Jessica. That is gross. Sorry. That was raw. I tried another piece of salad. But it has a molding plastic taste too. So I spat that sucker to the floor. Why are you spitting? Malaya asked. Is there something wrong with your salad? I wiped a napkin on my tongue, rubbing off the toxic taste. It's awful. Like poisonous mold. Holly took a piece from my salad and nibbled on it. It tastes fine to me. My eyes widened. Are you sure? Holly nodded. Maybe my taste buds were totally malfunctioning. I ate salad for years because I was a vegan. Eating meat from tortured animals had never sat well in my stomach. Yeah. It was weird when I chased a barbecue lunch truck across the street, following its piquant scent. Sometimes a smell could make people go crazy. Right? Staring closely at my salad, I took another bite and chewed slowly. It struck me like a guy slapping his girlfriend to spit out her food. I gagged and coughed the lettuce out. Are you okay, Jessica? Tiffany asked. Maybe my apple juice could wash down my mouth. I took one sip and stopped when my eyes grew wide. Whatever I drank, it wasn't apple juice. It tasted like dirt covered in piss. I spat it out to the floor and rubbed the nasty juice off my lips. Are you kidding me? Maybe that juice expired, Holly suggested. I stared at the date on the carton. It says November 3rd. It doesn't expire till next month. How about you go back to the lunch lady and try to get something different, Tiffany suggested. I nodded and headed back to the food counter with my tray. That lady was about to get sued. Excuse me. What do you want? she asked. I held out my tray. Can you get me a different bowl of salad? I think the salad is spoiled. Her eyes glared at me. Are you insulting my food? The salads are fresh as a whistle. But my salad tasted awful. Can you please give me a different salad bowl? The lunch lady shrugged and handed me a fruit salad bowl. Try this. To check if it was safe, I stabbed a plastic fork into an orange and chewed on it. Yuck. It's sour. Moldy taste tortured my tongue. I swallowed it, hoping the taste was only bad. God. I was wrong. My entire stomach boiled until I vomited on the floor like a freaking fire hose. Dear God. Girl, the lunch lady shouted. Are you okay? I wiped my mouth and glared at the lunch lady. Are you totally kidding me? That bowl is gross. How about you try something else besides salad and fruit, the lunch lady suggested. I got steak, chicken, and burgers. Really? She expected a vegan like me to taste meat when I totally hate meat? Yoo. My stomach still growled, begging me to eat something quick. Did I have a choice? Fine. I grabbed one fried chicken leg and bit it slowly. The crunchy, soft tender taste instantly exploded inside my mouth. It turned my cheeks red and my insides warmed up. Wow. Ooh. So yummy and delicious. I almost cried after I finished the chicken. I licked the bone and tossed it into the trash. I couldn't even stop licking my lips. Damn. Girl. The lunch lady exclaimed. I didn't know there are drugs in my chicken. I smiled and raised my tray up. Can I have more? Please? After the lunch lady piled more chicken on my tray, I ate like a bat out of hell. Thank God they built showers near the girls' locker room. It took me only 3 minutes to remove the sticky sauce from my hair. Not to mention the black greasy juice that made my face look like disgusting chocolate. But it felt good to wash all that stuff off me. Boy. I couldn't stop eating the chicken, pork chops, and burgers. None of them forced my tummy to throw up on the lunch table. Somehow I became addicted to animal flesh, while veggies and fruits made me sick. Did I eat something that totally mutated my diet? I should check the nurse to examine me. But I got no time for that. My P.E. class was already starting outside. And Coach Hogan hated late students. If you're late, he will order you to do 100 push-ups or 100 laps around the field. That was how hardcore he was. I turned off the shower nozzle and stepped out with a towel, drying myself off. There were no other girls inside the locker room. Probably they were all outside already. Damn. I gotta move outside now. With a white shirt and skinny blue shorts on, I raced through the hallway, meeting the others on the football field. We lined up when Coach Hogan blew his whistle. All right. You little snappers, he shouted like a lion. Today you will run a mile. But I can't do that, a fat kid shouted. My feet will get snores, a tall girl shouted. I giggled. Talk about total lame-o-s. Running a 1/4 mile track was a piece of cake for me. With years of cardio and cheerleading practice, I could run for like forever. Stop weeping like crybabies, Coach Hogan shouted. Life will be hard on you if you don't stay in shape. Remember, fatties lose and drools. If you don't want to be a fatty, then burn the calories now. We followed the coach toward the track around the field. Hogan held up his clipboard and stared at it. I wrote a list of who will go next by each turn. You will run around here as I time you. Run as fast as you can. It doesn't matter how fast you move. But if you move too slow, I will consider you a fatso. I snorted out a giggle. Coach Hogan glared a sharp look at me. I'm serious. I want you to run as fast as you can. Got it? The other students nodded with frowns on their faces. I was the only one smiling with my full confidence. Like, why should I act pathetic like them too? I'm a cheerleader. Hee hee hee. Patrick went first. He walked to the track and faced the path. Hogan clicked his stopwatch. Go. Patrick took off. But he didn't run too long. Halfway around, he wobbled while sweating like a pig. He kept breathing hard, as if he was going to have a heart attack. Wow. If he totally died on the field, it would be his own fault. Eating too many donuts wasn't the best protein to keep you running. Fatso. He collapsed to the ground before he reached Hogan. Then our coach checked his stopwatch. You're a fatty. Patrick. Get back with the group. Geez. The coach was totally mean. Maybe he thought being aggressive motivated us to work harder to improve our physical fitness routine. But calling Patrick a fatty only encouraged him to sit on the bench and cry like a baby. As if his life was totally over. Yeah. He was pathetic. But at least give him some slack if you wanted him to get healthy. Chelsea. You are up. Hogan shouted. Chelsea totally made me jealous. She has long legs that could make a gazelle feel ashamed of itself. She was athletic like me. But she was no cheerleader. I wouldn't be surprised if running around the neighborhood was her hobby. She stepped onto the track and sprinted around the track. My God. She was fast. Like if a truck was chasing her. She could outrun it. I admitted her improved stamina totally impressed me. Still, I could totally outmaneuver her ass. Hee hee hee. Chelsea stopped near Hogan as he clicked his stopwatch. Way to go. Chelsea, he said. Grinning like he found the perfect runner in his class. You did better than Fatso Patrick. Patrick sobbed. Jesus Christ. Hogan. This wasn't a freaking boot camp. Okay. Jessica. You are up next. Coach Hogan shouted. I grinned while stepping to the track. Rubbing my hands. And kneeled with one knee up to run. I raced a couple of track meets before I took up cheerleading. I should totally be in good shape for this. Go. Hogan shouted. I sprinted the moment he shouted at me to go. While running, everything around me seemed to blur into stretching colors. My hands touched the ground. Although my feet kept charging. None of my muscles burned or even a drop of sweat fell off my face. But the air sure blew through my face like I was running through a wind tunnel. After I stopped near the coach, I got up and brushed myself off. PFFF. How did I do? Coach Hogan's mouth was hanging wide open. Even the others stared at me as if I was a freaking ghost. Hello. I shouted. Hogan shook his head. Oh, sorry. I forgot to stop the time. Can you please do your run again? Really? How annoying. But one more lap won't kill me. I rolled my eyes and returned to my sprinting position. Go. Hogan shouted. Like last time. I sprinted around the track before I immediately noticed I was back standing next to the coach. God. That was fast. It was like I jumped through time without even realizing it. Wow. Jessica. Hogan shouted after he stopped his stopwatch. You ran faster than the road runner from Looney Tunes. I wasn't sure if I should be scared or proud of myself. A note from Miles Trombley, since I already finished half of this draft. I will post the finished chapters each day during the week until I reach the unfinished part. Enjoy. Okay. Class. Mr. Donald announced. We have a very special project today. Yoo. I hated science. But math was worse. Mr. Donald kept making us perform weird-ass experiments that had little to do with our grades. I totally have no plans to become a mad scientist in the future. But thank God I wasn't dissecting a frog. I would be sick to my stomach for half a year. Mr. Donald picked up a plastic box and placed it on his desk. God. He totally looked like a mad scientist with a white lab coat. White puffy hair. Twirling mustache. Eyes as big as my fist behind his eyes? Yeah. That fitted his description. I swore the school found him inside a secret lab. Building an army of zombies. What were they thinking? In this box are silver metal bars. He said. You will grab each one and drop acid on them. While the acid burns on the bars, you will write how the acid reacts to the silver. How fun. Next to me. Collie raised his hand. Mr. Donald pointed his finger at him. Yes. Collie? How are we supposed to write how the acid reacts to the silver? Just describe what is happening to the silver. This assignment requires your best observation of chemical reactions. Using your eyes and writing on your sheet will be your only tools for study. And don't worry. This will not be part of the upcoming quiz. I rolled my eyes. Hardly anyone would be interested in watching acid melt down a bar of metal. Except for nerds. Jessica. Can you please take this box and hand the bars to each student? Mr. Donald asked. As you wish. Dr. Frankenstein. I walked over to his desk and picked up the box. It surprised me it wasn't too heavy. Thank God. Or else I would have dropped it by mistake. Hitting my toe. That would surely get me out of school early. Not that I wouldn't mind. But it would hurt like hell. I placed the box on the counter on the left side of the classroom. When I grabbed one silver bar, something burned my fingers. Ouch. I thrust my hand out of the box and kissed my poor fingers. Yucks. I got red burn marks all over my hand. It's like someone left the bars in a hot oven. While I rubbed my hand, Mr. Donald approached me. Is everything all right? I showed him my burnt hand. No. Those bars are hot. Mr. Donald stared at the bars and touched one. No. They're not. How totally odd. I poked one bar and screamed louder. Ouch. What is wrong with you? Jessica? I kissed my poor finger. I don't know. It hurts. Mr. Donald glanced at my hand. Must be some kind of allergic reaction. You better see the nurse. I nodded and walked out through the classroom door. God. My hand still hurts. How could silver burn me when it was freaking cold? Was I allergic to silver now? I approached the door to the nurse's office and knocked on it. Come in, said the nurse's voice. I pushed the door open and stepped into the white office with curtains covering the window. I would say the office wasn't as bad as Mr. Donald's class if it wasn't for the human anatomy portrait hanging before the desk. A picture of a human showing their insides wasn't a good cup of tea for the patients. From the restroom, the nurse stepped out, tugging her white skirt. She was a middle-aged woman with a red ponytail and glasses on her face. Before she approached her desk, her buggy eyes shot toward me. Oh. Sorry about that. How can I help you? I held up my red hand. I got burnt when I touched silver. I don't know how it happened. The nurse stared at my red hand. Yes. That looks pretty bad. Was the silver hot? It felt hot. But Mr. Donald said the silver isn't hot. It totally burned my hand. The nurse let go of my hand. Let me get you an ice packet. You can sit over there. I sat on one bed near the corner, still shivering while my hand arched. Geez. If this damn thing doesn't heal soon, I won't be able to continue cheerleading. The girls will be totally disappointed. Here you go. The nurse handed me an ice pack. Place it on your hand and wait for 5 minutes. The pain should go away soon. Okay. The nurse left me a grin and returned to her desk to type on her computer. Typical. I sighed and pressed the ice bag on my hand. The coldness was already cooling off the heat, erasing the dull pain away. Maybe with luck. My hand will heal quickly, so I wouldn't skip my cheerleading practices. Please heal fast. Please heal fast. After 5 minutes, the nurse walked back toward me. May I see your hand? I held out my burnt hand. But my hand was pink and clean with no trace of dead skin. Well, that went fast, said the nurse. I moved my hand around. It feels fine now. Yeah. But it usually takes 2 weeks for a burn to heal. You must have eaten a lot of vitamins. I lowered my hand and shrugged. I guessed so. So you touched silver that isn't hot. But it burned your hand. Right? Yes. I am totally not making that up. The nurse straightened her glasses. I never heard a person getting burned by silver before when it is cool. Whatever happened? I think you are fine now. To be on the safe side, don't touch silver again. It could be some type of allergic reaction. I nodded. What was happening to me? Oh. Thank God the school bell rang. This strange day can finally be over so I can rest on my bed. Sigh. I walked out of the science class and hurried down the hallway. Too bad I wasn't the only one escaping from the boring classes. Everyone swarmed around me, talking loud and hustling like a stampede. Yeah. I was used to crowds. Never once I got aclophobia in my whole life. And yet, their voices sounded very close to me. I covered my ears. But the voices still echoed through my hands. Want to go to Taco Palace later? My mom will kill me if I stay out late. I heard Tilly had a crush on Bennett. When will he freaking notice her? Do you think Nate and Jim are gay? Who cares? Everyone should be happy. If I don't get my driver's license soon, I am going to steal my mother's car. I pressed harder as I gritted my teeth. Stop. Please stop. They grew louder and louder, all echoing through my head. Stop. Hey. Jessica. I swung around as Tiffany and Malaya approached me. Wait up. Malaya shouted. I rubbed my forehead. The voices faded away. Thank God. What's up? We heard how fast you ran in P.E., said Tiffany. That is totally awesome. Oh. It was nothing, I said. I always run fast. But Chelsea said you were running like a dog, said Malaya. How did you learn that? To be honest, I totally have no clue. I ran. And suddenly I ran fast. Must be your basic instinct, said Tiffany. I heard girls run quickly when they feel like they are in danger. It is a primitive trait from our caveman ancestors. You mean cave girl ancestors? I laughed with my friends. Cool. If I was a cave girl, I would be the alpha because I was taller and stronger. No offense to Tiffany, but a T-Rex would eat her up. You dork face. A voice screamed down the hallway. Oh. My God. Near the blue lockers. Randy grabbed Kevin's shoulders and slammed him against one locker. Ouch. That could have broken the nerd's back. After all, Randy was totally stronger than him. Yeah. Randy, the big fat bald-headed kid who thought he was all tough and mighty at school. For some reason, he has an irritable tantrum as if he has a mental disorder. Why the school never sent him to the asylum was a mystery to me. You are supposed to give me my homework before class. Randy shouted. My teacher gave me an F. I'm sorry. Kevin cried. I had to turn in something first and I forgot. Randy rose his fist toward Kevin's face. This will make you never forget again. Okay. This has gone far enough. Maybe I didn't totally care about Kevin so much. But I needed him to fill out my homework. And don't say I was being bad as Randy. At least I was being nicer to Kevin. With a glare, I marched straight toward the bully. Hey! Leave him alone. Randy shot daggers at me. Bug out. Girlie. This is just between me and him. I said leave him alone. Randy gritted his teeth. You girls need to learn how to stay out of our business. Before I saw it, the punk slapped by the back of his hand. Ouch. That hurt worse than a bee sting. What the hell was wrong with him? I rubbed my red cheek as I snarled at him with a soft growl. Tremoring through my teeth. My blood boiled throughout my veins. Ready to burst. This jerk is dead. I grabbed Randy's arm and bent it as his bone snapped in half. He threw his fist toward me. But I dodged his fist. He kept swinging at me as I jumped from side to side quickly. Damn, I was moving fast. His punches seemed to be moving slowly toward me. All I had to do was step aside with my mouth wide open. My reflexes had totally flown off the charts. After stopping to breathe, Randy stopped and growled like an angry bulldog. He charged with his hands reaching toward me. No way in hell he will ever touch me. I ducked before his dirty hands reached me. With my back hitting the floor, I shot a kick into his stomach and tossed him over me by my foot. Wow. He flew across the hallway, screaming before crashing into a locker at the end. I jumped up while everyone gathered around me, cheering like I won a fight. Damn. Where did all my incredible new strength come from? No one could throw Randy across the hallway. As if he was a freaking body pillow. But wow. I threw him like he was nothing. Should I had felt bad about him? To be honest, he totally needed his ass kicked. I dashed toward Kevin and helped him up. Geez. Are you okay? Kevin fixed his glasses. I'm fine. How did you do? That? I shrugged. Which was the best answer I could give him. Suddenly, my stomach growled like a wolf, bubbling inside my belly. Thank God I didn't fart. Wanna get something to eat? Kevin dropped his mouth as if he saw a ghost. Are you asking me on a date? His voice shuddered. Oh. My God. My face turned red. I had to blurt something before the wrong idea clouded his head. Like the thought of eating after my belly roared just popped up inside my head. I only asked him because I hate eating alone. I did not know if my friends were going straight home after school. Ugh. Maybe I should have asked them first. But Kevin almost got pounded by Randy. Plus, taking him out after surviving an attack was the nicest thing I could do. If I did nice things for him, he will keep doing my schoolwork. I held up my finger. No. It's totally not a date. We are not going out as a couple. My stomach groaned again. I really needed to eat something before I go home. Okay. Tiffany and Malaya caught up toward me while clapping their hands. Damn. Jessica. You are totally being amazing today. Malaya shouted. I am so totally glad I selected you for my squad. Tiffany exclaimed. Tiffany glared at our stubborn captain. You mean our squad? Tiffany shrugged. Thanks. I'm taking Kevin out now so he can recover, I said. Both the girls curled their lips into mischievous grins. You're going out with the nerd now? Tiffany asked with a giggle. My face boiled into redness again. Not because I felt embarrassed. I totally hated it when my friends make silly assumptions about me. If I was their captain, they would totally feel my wrath. No. I'm just doing him a favor. Wow. Jessica, said Tiffany with a shocked look. I totally can't believe you were already looking for someone after you lost Mark. Kevin stepped toward the girls. We're not. I pressed my palm on his lips to shut him up. Girl talk. Nerd boy. Your words will not help me. We're just going out. And I totally still love Mark. Okay, said Tiffany, beaming one eye at me. We'll leave you two be. No smoochies. They strolled off, laughing like hyenas that shuddered my skin. I hated embarrassment. No other restaurant in Moondale was better than Burger Queen. The place was established during the 50s when fast food diners grew better. Back then, Moondale needed money from traveling bypassers to help their community grow stronger. One woman, a hospital chef named Daisy Queen, volunteered to build the first diner. Everyone called her Burger Queen because she totally knew how to fry mouth-watering burgers on grills. Thanks to her diner, more people arrived to shop and eat her burgers. After she passed away, her granddaughter, Ella Queen, took over and faced fierce competition. More restaurants and new shopping districts grew around downtown, shadowing over the first diner. With fewer people and less money, the business turned rocky for poor Ella. She almost thought she would lose the diner and disappoint her dead grandmother. How depressing. But a business person came by and grew an interest in the diner. He thought he could use it to compete against other fast food restaurants across America. Ella accepted his offer. And then her diner turned into a franchise in the large fast food chain. They built only 15 Burger Queen diners in the Midwest. And none of them couldn't compete against the bigger restaurants in America. That sucked. But it helped Ella stay in business, keeping the legacy of her grandmother alive. She became the new Burger Queen, still ruling her kingdom until the day she will die. Her diner was the heart and soul of Moondale. If it weren't for her grandmother, the town would have faded away from existence. And I wouldn't be here with my cheerleading squad. While Kevin sat at the table, I approached the cashier counter and stared at the menu. I usually ate salad with my friends to avoid the burgers. Now my tummy was begging me to eat meat. Hey Jessica, said Bandy, the cashier. What can I get you? Bandy knew me since my friends brought me to Burger Queen. I guessed he loved working at the diner since I kept seeing him. I bit my lower lip. Can I get 1 cheeseburger and 20 barbecue burgers from the 99-cent menu? Bandy widened his eyes. Wow. Really? I thought you only eat a salad here. I shrugged. I gave that up. My stomach acted strangely since last night. I can only eat meat now. I guessed eating so many vegetables made your stomach hate them now. Bandy typed on the computer. That will be $20. I gave him a $20 bill. Thank you, Bandy. For here. Or to go? For here. Bandy handed me a number card. Your burgers will arrive in 2 minutes. I returned to Kevin and sat down in front of him. When my mouth opened, my cell phone rang. Excuse me, I answered it. Hello? Jessica. Where are you? My dad's voice shouted. It is getting dark now. You should be at home. I'm fine, Daddy. I am with Kevin at Burger Queen. Burger Queen? But I ordered a pizza. Sorry. But Kevin had a terrible day at school. We're at Burger Queen to make him feel better. What happened? I sighed. He fell into the wrong crowd. Well, don't stay out too late. I will work late again. Be home before me. Okay? I will. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye. I sent him some smooches and hung up. The waiter approached the table. Just in time. And our trays down. Here you go. Enjoy. After the waiter left, Kevin grabbed 1 cheeseburger. I gazed at my burgers. noticing they all looked like sloppy joes in barbecue sauce. MMMMH. Already their delicious taste drifted into my watering mouth. Sweet barbecue. Spreading all over my tongue. And my heart pounded like a drummer. I felt like I haven't eaten in years. Although I ate lunch only a few hours ago. So hungry. I could eat the whole diner if my body forced me to. No way I would actually do the diner. Hee hee hee. I picked up one burger and took the first bite. It was juicy, sweet, and very meaty with a lot of sauce between the honey buns. I munched the whole burger and grabbed the next one. And the next one. And the next one. Stuffing them into my chomping mouth. Meat and sauce splattered across my face. And I didn't care. I just want to keep eating and eating until there was nothing left. After swallowing the last burger, I burped like a horn. Wow. Kevin paused before his burger touched his lips. I never seen you eat like that before. I giggled and grabbed a napkin to wipe my face off. Man. Those burgers are totally good. Are you going to eat that? Kevin stared at his burger and gobbled it down. Geez. Jessica. Since when did you start eating meat? I don't know. I licked the sauce off my fingers. I couldn't eat lettuce anymore. Somehow they totally make me get sick. When did that happen? Since lunchtime. Kevin rubbed his chin. Maybe your body got tired of you eating veggies. That is why you are puking it out. I can't even drink milk. Eat bread. And taste ice cream. Kevin pointed at the crumbs on my tray. You ate the buns. Oh. I gazed at the crumbs. I guessed my stomach couldn't tell with so much meat falling down my throat. Are you lactose intolerant too? I don't even know what that means. Kevin bit into his burger. Your body cannot break down sugar and daily. Well. That totally sucks. But I never had that problem before. You must have caught something in the woods when you were out with Mark. I gulped. Hearing the word woods reminded me of the horror I encountered in Blackwood Forest. I would rather not get into too much detail about it. Can we change the subject? Please? Like why the total heck did Randy attack you? Kevin sighed. He was paying me to do his homework. My mouth hung. He is paying you? He said if I helped him with his homework, he will give me $10. Wow. I never heard a bully offering money to a nerd. Usually, the nerds get atomic wedgies if they don't work with them. I would never pay someone to do my homework. Why waste it when I could shop with my friends instead? And you accepted his offer? Why not? I needed the money for my science project. Randy's offer was irresistible. But that jerk almost punched you. That was different. He never did that before. I knew I screwed up. But I guess he overreacted. Overreacted? God. This dude was being a total dork. More like overkill. You should totally avoid him like a plague. But how can I get more money? Kevin asked. Get a job. Save money. Do your own freaking homework. And mine too. Kevin nibbled on the lettuce in his bun. I guess you are right. Randy is a jerk and I don't need his money anymore. I smiled. Excellent choice. But don't you dare forget my homework either? Kevin laughed. You're hilarious. I laughed back. Kevin finished his burger and wiped his mouth with his napkin. So I heard you are from Beverly Hills. Must be a great place for you. Oh. It is totally fabulous there. Sometimes I would cry whenever I hear those words. Why did you move? My stomach nodded. Another dark spectacle I wanted to keep in the closet. Tragedy, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. I gazed at the window next to our table. Seeing the full moon rise over the dark clouds. Something strange popped up inside of me. Like I was being drawn toward it. Jessica? My eyes blinked. What? He gestured at the window. You were staring into space. I shook my head. Sorry. Can you give me a ride home? Sure. Better to get a ride home now than never. Who would be stupid enough to walk home at night alone? RRRRRHHH. I couldn't sleep. The moon was shining into my face like a giant freaking night light. If my curtains weren't in the laundry machine, I would have pulled them over my bedroom window. So I got up, planting my bare feet to the carpet floor. All those calories I ate totally must be keeping me up. But something else felt wrong with me. I was sweating heavily across my body. I felt like an oven was burning up inside of me. Wow. My body must be cooking the calories out of me. Was that normal? Off my bed, I strolled to my bathroom in the dark, feeling my legs arching. Even my arms arched too, like something was crawling through my skin. In the bathroom, I approached the mirror and switched the light on. I looked pale as a ghost, with dark circles around my eyes. God. I looked wasted with messed up hair. Huh? I stared at my hands, seeing white fur growing on my hands. They sprouted down my arms as my fingernails grew sharp and long. Wah. Pain exploded inside me before I could finish. I fell to the floor as the muscles in my back cramped, cracking my spine. My legs twisted so hard. My joints snapped incorrectly as my bone bulged against my skin. I tried to scream, but instead, an inhuman guttural roar escaped from my throat. Then, everything went dark. Darkness was totally everywhere when I opened my eyes. I was freezing cold, still sleepy, and naked? What the hell? I'm naked? Through my groggy moment, I had no clue where I was. While rubbing my eyes, I sat up and something yanked me back down. My heart jumped toward my throat as I touched a solid, cold metal object around my throat. Attached to a chain, hooked to a wall. It took me some time to study the wall as my eyes adjusted. Concrete bricks slabbed together, and the floor felt smooth as ice. Wooden planks supported the ceiling above me while everything smelled like dirt inside a concrete storage. How in the hell did I wind up in a storage room? I was in my bedroom a moment ago, before I passed out. Did someone totally drugged me up? A creak echoed from the top of a stairway where the light shined through, nearly burning my eyes off. After I rubbed them, a shadowy figure stepped down the stairway, carrying a dog bowl with water in it. As he came closer, I dropped my eyes wide open. Kevin? The nerd dropped the bowl, spilling the water down the steps. Jessica? Oh my God. Kevin shook his finger at me while his lips tremored. You are the werewolf? I blinked my eyes. What are you talking about? You are a werewolf. He shook in his shoes. A werewolf? What was wrong with him? Like, was he totally insane? I never had seen him behave like this before. Crap. I knew he was a creep. Let me go. I yanked on the chain. Let me go before I scream. Please calm down. Kevin held out his hands while stepping toward me. I know this looks wrong, but you need to dash help. I cried. A pervert dash, the nerd leaped on top of me and covered my mouth. Listen to me. You sneaked into my backyard and tried to eat me. I had to lock you down here for both of our goods. Geez. His hand smelled like tuna. I shook my face, but he wouldn't let go of me. His ass was totally going to jail. Try to remember what happened last night, he said in my face. Remember? The only thing I will remember was beating up his ass, where I paused by the time everything flashed inside my head. Like a daydream or something. While I was still totally awake. Maybe it was only my head tripping. But I swore it felt like it had happened. In my vision, I was running across the street on all fours. Everything was black and green. Like I was wearing night vision goggles. Maybe I wasn't seeing right in my daydreaming session because of my groggy head. But I had to focus. Near the street, a fat kid with a bald head walked down the sidewalk with his hands in his pockets. It was Randy the butthead who tried to hurt Kevin. What the hell was he doing walking alone on the street? Late in the freaking night? Maybe it wasn't my business to know his personal issue. Like, why should I care? At least I was totally smart enough to get a ride home last night. Anyway, I charged toward him while my vision was close to the ground. I wasn't sure if I was crawling quick or running like a dog. That was totally tripping me out. He stopped and stared at me with his eyes wide open. As his mouth dropped, I could see the terror on his face. He stepped back while holding his shaking palms up toward me. Step back. Step back. Holy crap. He was totally freaking out as if I was some kind of monster. This was totally the first time I saw Randy sobbing in fear like a baby. Suddenly, he swung around and dashed off, screaming for his life. A roar escaped from my lips as I charged after him. That roar totally didn't belong to me. It sounded incredibly inhuman. Like a wolf. Oh God. Did I become some kind of wolf? Whatever. I had to stay focused on my vision. Randy dashed through an alleyway in downtown. Damn. He could run. But I ran faster on all fours. Panting like crazy. Randy dived into a dumpster and slammed the lid shut. I jumped onto the lid and scratched the plastic covering, leaving claw marks all over it. Geez. My poor fingernails could break like that. Then a siren stopped from the alleyway end. From flashing red and blue lights, 2 officers raced toward me with their guns out. Huh? I instantly recognized both of them. One of them was my dad and his partner, Bill Kramer. I knew little about Bill. He and Dad had been together for a while, keeping the law in Moondale under control. Dad aimed his gun at me, shaking in his boots. Freeze. Freeze? Bill asked. It's an animal. It won't dash. I leaped toward my dad. But he shot my left shoulder. I felt nothing. But I bet it totally hurt. I spun around and ran the other way. Shots echoed past me through the alleyway. Geez. I almost attacked my dad as if he was a rabbit. If he didn't shoot me, who knew what would have happened? Thank God I didn't kill him. Or ate him? Leaves. Darkness. And flashes of lights filtered the rest of the images. I was running so fast. As if I was fast-forwarding through a video. Soon, I stopped on top of a dormer roof near an open window. I turned around and gazed straight at the full moon. So beautiful. I howled with every breath I got. Someone squealed behind me, interrupting my strange behavior. Then I saw Kevin peeking through the window, shuddering at my sight. He pointed his finger at me while stepping back. Dash before he could finish. I pounced him through the window and landed on top of him on the floor. My fangs nearly touched his throat as he pushed my mouth back. But I wasn't giving up. While pushing my face back, he pulled out a baseball bat from beneath his bed. Then he knocked me out, waking me up from my vision. After I snapped out of my trance, I pushed Kevin off my naked body. You knocked the crap out of me. Sorry. But now do you believe me? He cried. I wasn't sure if I should totally believe him. Whatever the memory I saw inside my head, it was totally true. Oh my God. I am a werewolf. I didn't care what excuse he had for chaining me to the wall without leaving me any clothes on. He totally owned me for help. Or else my dad will totally put his ass into prison. I sat at the dining table, smelling bacon sizzling from the kitchen. My mouth was totally drooling all over the table now. God. I was so hungry. Here you go. Kevin brought a plate of bacon to me. A pile of bacon. All brown and crispy. Yummy. I shoveled the bacon into my mouth, admiring their nutty and salty tastes. Maybe too salty. But I love bacon. Kevin sat down in front of me. I called your dad to let him know you are here. He doesn't sound happy. Thanks. I licked the grease off my lips. I feared if I came home last night, I would have attacked him. How did you become a werewolf? Did it happen when Mark brought you to Blackwood Park? Well, I still remember being attacked by a strange creature. It took a bite out of me. But the bite mark is gone. Kevin drummed his fingers on the table. That must be how it happened. To become a werewolf, you have to be bitten by one. I rubbed my eyes. I guess so. Kevin sighed. I should have known from what you told me. You're super healing. You're craving for meat. And bone-breaking strength. Boy. I was being dumb. How much do you know about werewolves? Only the basics. But I have a book about monsters from ancient folklores. Let me go get it. Sure. Kevin hurried up the stairs while I finished my plate. It only took him a minute to run back, holding a large black leather book in his hands. He sat next to me and opened the book. Based on your transformation, I figured you are a lycanthrope. A what? Lycanthrope is an ancient word for werewolf. He turned the pages to the chapter about werewolves. Geez. It had freaky pictures of wolf monsters eating people. They are humans who can shapeshift into wolves. Monster wolves who calf for meat. Sheep. Cows. Chickens. Men. He gulped. They usually change during the first moon. But I heard they sometimes change every night. Perhaps the full moon is their first period to transform. My stomach turned. If I transformed every night, I could endanger everyone in the whole freaking town. My friends. Boyfriend. And dad. If I couldn't control myself last night, then I couldn't be near anyone. Is there a cure? Kevin skipped a few pages, looking closely at the words. I don't know. It only said silver and wolfsbane can stop the werewolf. A cure? No. Silver metal burns the werewolf and wolfsbane poisons them. He closed the book. Only death is their cure. So that was why the freaking silver bar in my science class burned my hand. And thank God the town didn't have any wolfsbane flowers growing around. I bet the poison would be worse than getting burned alive by silver. But that wasn't the worst case of my problem. No freaking cure. Which meant I was totally stuck as a monster. No. I cried in my arms on the table. I don't want to be a werewolf. I felt Kevin's hand rubbing my back. Smoothly. It's okay. Jessica. We can figure this out. How? I glared at him. Although my face was wet like a sponge. I'm a total monster now. What if I kill my friends or my dad? What if I can't do cheerleading anymore? What if I have to leave in the woods like an animal? What if God? I lost my breath. My heart thumped, rushing my blood throughout my body. I could hardly breathe while my emotions ran rapidly through my head. What a total nightmare. Just calm down, Jessica. Kevin advised. On the bright side, you are now a very powerful monster. He held up 5 fingers. You got super strength, speed, enhanced senses, wolf instructs. And you can't die. I can't die? I asked after my recovery. Yes. Sort of. Silver and wolfsbane are the only things that can kill you. But you will live forever and ever. I gritted. Will I still grow up? Kevin held out his hands and shrugged. I don't know. I never met a 100-year-old werewolf before. How could I tell? Oh my God. I hope I wouldn't live as an old woman for the rest of my life. If this helps. I know someone who can help you. Kevin suggested. I'm sure. I guess. I answered and rubbed the tears off my face. What other choice do I have? If I couldn't contain the beast inside me, then everyone will totally become dinner on the platter. Oh God. Oh God. Midnight Records? I stood outside the glass door, staring at the sign above the entrance. Are you totally kidding me? The music shop wasn't some mythical mojo place that could cure my werewolf problem. I knew it for selling old-school records since the 50s when they were popular. Of course. They sold modern music. But their oldies were their babies. I have only been inside the store once to buy a birthday present for Tiffany. She enjoyed collecting records, although she listened to most of her music on her iPhone. Some rich people totally have strange hobbies. I know someone here who can help you. Kevin explained. She is a witch from Portland, Oregon. My mouth dropped. A witch. An actual witch. Not the ones who perform fake magic tricks. She is legit. I never believed in witches throughout my life. Daddy said they were pagan cultists who think they could speak to nature and curse people. I wasn't sure if he was joking or he read too many horror books about them. But I learned Moondale has a dark history about a witch family burned at the stake. Before they died, their father cursed the settlers, stating many bad things will happen to the townspeople for eternity. And many spooky rumors and strange disappearances happened since the witch trial. Was there totally a curse? Meh. I doubt that, but surviving from a werewolf attack sort of changed my mind. Anyway, why would a witch be living in a town with grim histories of her kind? It would totally be like a Jew moving to a former Nazi town. Thank you, history class, for teaching me about the Holocaust in World War II. Geez. But what was wrong with the witch? Had she read about the history of Moondale yet? All right. Let's meet her, I said. Kevin pushed the glass door open, letting me walk into the shop first. Cool air and the soft breeze of decaying cardboard greeted me. Not too bad. It smelled similar to the public library. The shop was small, with shelves in rows across the smooth wooden floor. The ceiling and walls were painted blue with golden stars, sprinkling the total atmosphere. A totally excellent touch to mix the store's title. All the records stood on the shelves under each music genre label. The CDs were on the far left and right. Old and new. Most of them were worthless to me. I listened to my pop music, either on my phone or computer. Geez. The records were totally outdated. Toward the back, we approached the cashier counter where a girl sat with her bare feet on the table. If I could give her a name, it would be the Princess of Darkness. Seriously. She looked like a rock star who took a dip into white paint. Her skin was totally white. Not pale. White. Other than being white, she has long black, dark eyeliners, black nails, black lips, black. Everything else. Well, except for her dark gray raggy jeans with holes on her knees. The sleeveless shirt she wore was black with a big red pentagram on her chest. If my grandma saw that shirt, she would think the girl was a Satanist. I meant that. She was a hardcore Christian. While leaning back with her white dirty feet up, she blew a pink bubble gum from her mouth as her catty eyes gazed at a rock music magazine in her hands. And she freaking smelled like pumpkin spice at a Thanksgiving party. Or a Halloween party, to fit her image. Hi. Selena. Kevin waved with a grin. The goth girl lowered her magazine, glancing at Kevin with a blank stare. I could see dark circles around her eyes as if she hadn't slept in weeks. Sup? Nerd. She answered in a tomboyish voice. Are you going to buy something? Or leave? How rude. Like what was her deal? If she wanted to read alone, she shouldn't be at the counter. No. We need your help, said Kevin. My friend here has a problem. A supernatural problem. Selena beamed her eyes at me. This Barbie girl? My eyes widened. Wha? I'm not a Barbie girl. Selena removed her feet from the counter, leaning forward to beam her dark eyes at me. Blonde hair. Tan skin. Thin body. You are a Barbie girl. And what are you supposed to be? Satan's daughter? Selena's black lips thinned. Her eyes turned sharp as if she wanted to rip my heart out. If she tried anything, I swore I would go wolfy on her. Please. No fighting. Kevin shook his hands with a tear on his forehead. Selena. She knows you are a witch. The girl shot her dark eyes at him, looking annoyed. You told her? I had to. But it is important. A werewolf bit her. And she transformed last night. Selena studied me. Who? So you are the mysterious creature who attacked last night. I paused at her. You read my mind? No. Dummy. I heard the news. Witches and psychics are different. Get it through your dumb blonde head. Grrrr. That chick was begging to get burned at the stake. What do you know about werewolves? Selena? Kevin asked. Selena grunted while rubbing 4 fingers on her temple. Please kill me. She took a deep breath and leaned back against her seat. How much do you know about werewolves? They're people who turn into wolf people, I answered. Selena glared at me. Close. But there is more than what the legends said. She folded her hands like she was some type of evil genius. In ancient times, werewolves were people who tried to turn themselves into wolves. Like me. They performed different witchcraft to transform. Spells, rituals, potions, and curses. The practice is called lycanthropy. A very dangerous type of witchcraft. Those who were successful received the ability to turn into wolves. The unfortunate ones became monsters, called lycanthropes. So werewolves are basically witches? Not all of them. But they are linked to witchcraft. Nobody knew who invented the craft, or where it came from. But I believe witches handled the craft. The new lycanthropes first change during the full moon. They lose their sense of humanity and reasoning. Only their wolf personalities controlled them, forcing them to find munchies throughout the night. If you are a lycanthrope, you are good as dead. I sneered and shook my finger at her face. How dare you? I have the right to live. What about the other lives you probably took? Damn. I was so ready to punch her face. Please, Selena. You have to know something, said Kevin. Selena rolled her eyes. I don't know a cure. But I do know how you can control it. My face instantly turned bright. Really? The witch pointed her thumb at the back door behind the counter. Let me go get my spell book. It is in my locker. After she left, I crossed my arms. What is her total problem? Kevin rubbed the back of his head. I don't know much about her. But she is judgmental sometimes. Does she go to our school? Yes. She is a loner. She knows how to hide among the crowd. I never remembered seeing a goth girl creeping around at our school like a total ghost. If she was a witch, it made total sense she could use an invisible spell to avoid contact with the other kids. Wow. I was totally thinking of weird stuff now. How did you meet her? By surprise. Hallie Venkman, who ran our school newspaper, hired me to find the corpse tree in Blackwood Park. The corpse tree? What? You never heard that urban legend? I shrugged. I never read our school papers. Yeah. Why should I? School politics was boring. And they wrote no articles about my cheerleading squad. How totally rude. In the 1800s, there was a serial killer who butchered women in the town. When the sheriff discovered his whereabouts, the killer buried the bodies in the forest. The sheriff hanged him. But he never found the bodies at the killer's hideout. One night, he found the bodies beneath a strange tree, which came to life and tried to attack him. The sheriff survived and warned the town about the tree. But the townsfolk thought he was crazy and sent him to a mental asylum. However, hikers and campers said they had encountered a similar tree that smelled like a corpse. Their rumors kept spreading for years, forming the corpse tree myth. Spooky. Kevin fixed his glasses. So, I went to Blackwood Park early in the morning. Out of nowhere, the tree attacked me. Then Selena showed up and cast a spell on the tree, burning it. Oh. What was she doing in the woods? She said she was connecting herself to the forest. I guess she was meditating. Witch stuff. Kevin pursed his lips. Yeah. We became friends since then. She provided me with free information about the supernatural. And I let her know if anything strange happens in the town. In truth, I am the only normal friend she has. I smirked a bit. Have you ever, totally went out with her? Kevin chuckled as his cheeks turned red. No. She isn't my type. She may look like a dark, beautiful princess, but she can be a wicked witch from the west. I laughed. Where I came from, most men preferred princesses than dark princesses. I guessed goth girls had too many issues, which led them to a dark path. If Selena wanted a boyfriend, she should date someone like her. A prince of darkness. Goth girls totally dug them. I got it. Selena returned with a large leather book and placed it on the counter. This book contains all the hexes that can either ward off curses and control them. She opened the book. There is one hex for a werewolf curse. It might help your Barbie doll here. Stop calling me Barbie doll. I shouted with my fists shaking up. I don't even play with Barbie dolls anymore. Selena skimmed through the pages until she stopped at a chapter halfway in the book. Here is one. The wolf's seal. She slid her black fingernail along the Old English sentences. A tattoo in werewolf blood that allows the victim to control their werewolf form. An Indian shaman invented it to help the cursed. With the mark coated in the human skin. Anywhere on the body, the victim can tame the beast from within. In wolf form, the victim's reason and personality will remain intact. However, the victim cannot speak in wolf's tongue. And the curse remains. As long as the mark stays on the victim's flesh, they will be in control. So it has to be a tattoo? I asked. My daddy will totally freak out if he finds a tattoo on me. You can put it somewhere where he can't see it, Kevin suggested. Like where? My butt. I gave him a glare and glanced back to Selena. So, can I totally get the tattoo now? It isn't simple, said Selena. The ingredients for the ink is wolfsbane and werewolf blood. I got some wolfsbane in my house, but no werewolf blood. What about my werewolf blood? The blood has to come from the beast who bit you. Without it, the seal can't work. My heart dropped. Well, that totally sucks. It looks like we are going to have to find the werewolf who attacked you in the woods, said Kevin. Do you remember where you encountered it? I totally don't remember, but if we head to Blackwood Park, my fuzzy memory should come back. Selena closed the book. In that case, let me suggest some goodies for you. Use a silver dagger to weaken the wolf. But don't stab its heart or brain. If it dies, its blood will die with it. After it gets weak, collect the blood. I don't need a bucket full. Just enough for one tattoo. I got a syringe and silver at home, Kevin stated. The witch smiled at him and turned toward me. One more thing. She handed me a necklace with a stone talisman on it. Put this on. If anything happens, it will help me find you guys. I nodded. Thank you. See ya. Barbie doll. Oh. My God. Stop calling me a Barbie doll. Kevin drove his mother's car up the hill toward the parking lot. Mark's Mustang wasn't there. Maybe a tow truck took it away. Well, they better give it back to him after we find him. I hope. After Kevin parked his mother's car toward the cliff, we got out, catching the breathtaking forest air. From a distance, the sun was already setting over the mountains. Geez. Already the nightfall was coming. If we don't find the werewolf soon, the next night would be a total night of carnage. God. We gotta hurry. So does anything ring a bell here? Kevin asked. I glanced around the empty parking lot. I remember Mark and I being in his car until we walked into the woods. What were you two doing in the woods? I glared at him. That is totally none of your beeswax. I'm just asking. You don't have to be a pain. I rolled my eyes. Do you know where you went? Kevin asked. I can't remember the trail. I'm totally not good at tracking stuff. I rubbed my head, feeling frustrated. Kevin pointed his finger at my nose. How about you try smelling Mark's trail? I widened my eyes. Are you totally being serious? Even if you are in your human form, you still have your basic werewolf instinct. That includes heightening smell, long-distance hearing, speed, and super strength. If the werewolf came through here, you can smell his scent. Try it. Okay. I closed my eyes and sniffed the air. The smell of minty forest atmosphere and the dirt on the ground breezed through my nose. Never before my nose was extremely sensitive. I can only smell the forest. Nothing else. Try sniffing the ground, Kevin suggested. What? You're totally kidding me. Right? Dogs can track their targets better by sniffing on the ground. Wolves do the same thing when hunting their prey. But what does it totally supposed to smell like? I don't know. Mark's cologne? Well, I totally dug Mark's cologne. That will make me sniff him out. I sighed and kneeled, touching my nose to the ground. I only smelled the dirt and rocks on the ground until I caught something. Spicy. Musky. Like a dirty-ass wolf. You. Totally not Mark's sweet cologne, what a minute. A wolf? Hey. I think I found something. While sniffing, I crawled on all fours, following the scent through the bushes. I couldn't help it. Good girl. Jessica. Kevin cheered behind me. Good girl. I growled. Don't treat me like a dog. Through the forest, I recognized the trail which I ran through 3 nights ago. Or at least I remembered. I approached the tree with the claw marks and stopped. The claw marks were still on the tree, and the dry blood still stenched the ground, smelling like metal. Human blood. I totally suspected. I rose to my feet as Kevin approached me. I think this is where the wolf attacked Mark. His blood is still on the ground. Kevin stared at the claw marks and touched it. Wow. It feels like a chainsaw had cut through this tree. A bear couldn't even do that. I looked to the left. I think I ran that way next. Geez. Like before. I continued sniffing the trail on all fours. Totally unsanitary. I better not be sniffing feces on the ground. But how could I control my sniffing? It was like the scent was drawing me to the werewolf. Why couldn't it be Mark's sexy smell instead? I reached the river and stopped on the shore, losing the scent as the smell of salty dirt near the freshwater replaced it. In the water, Mark's leather jacket floated without blood on it. I instantly sprinted through the water, ignoring the icky water splashing against my long legs. I grabbed the jacket and sniffed it to make sure it belonged to him for sure. Yes. It was his jacket as my memories came back to me. His attractive sweet scent poured through me like the warmness from the sun. Although I blushed, feeling as if he was close to me. A tear dripped down my left cheek. Oh. Mark. Where are you? Is that his jacket? Kevin asked. I stepped out of the river while carrying the jacket toward him. Yeah. There was blood on it, proving the werewolf attacked him. This is where I lost track of him before I got attacked. Kevin looked around. Where did you go next from here? I looked to the right and placed the jacket down. That way. We continued along the river until I spotted the exact place where my nightmare began. The River Mill House. Over there. I pointed. That is where the werewolf attacked me. Kevin looked at the mill house. Roachshire's watermill? Yes. The creature was standing on the roof when I approached the door. Before I went through it, it jumped down to attack me. I then ran from that place and into the woods where the monster bit me. I kept running until I reached the road where Dad found me. It was totally terrible. I almost thought I was going to die. Kevin beamed his eyes at the watermill house. We should go in there. If the werewolf is inside, that is where we must go next. My skin shivered. But I knew I had to go in there. Mark could be inside, hurt, or even dying. There was no turning back now. We walked up the staircase and approached the front door. Already the werewolf image on the roof flashed back. His yellow eyes and snarling fangs, with the strange grin smiling down at me, chilled through my skin. Still, I couldn't back down from getting the wolf's blood for my sake. Come on, Jessica. You can totally do this. Kevin stared at the door. I knew this place has bad mojo. Consisting it has a dark past. I turned to him. What kind of dark past? I thought you knew about it. You're the one with the brains. Kevin rolled his eyes. The husband murdered his family here in the 18th century. The husband? His name was Mr. Roachshire. People thought he went insane. After he killed his family, he vanished. This place became haunted ever since. Jessica shrugged. Can you get us in? Kevin pulled the doorknob. It's locked. How about you break it open? I glared at him. No way. Breaking an entry is illegal. I'm too young to go to jail. But you are a werewolf now. Break the door. Air. Whatever. I raised my left foot back and slammed my toes against the door. It fell down, banging onto the floor. Wow. I hoped nobody else heard that noise. Inside, everything was dark and brown. A table stood at the center, near a fireplace full of black charcoal. Cobwebs hung across the ceiling and near the corners. Dust covered the floor, and mold covered the windows, darkening the entire place. It smelled very musty and old without candles. It was like the people forgotten the place since the family died. If my daddy moved us here, I would totally die here. Kevin pulled out a flashlight and turned it on. Do you smell the scent here? I closed my eyes and sniffed. Catching the musty dirt smell that wasn't part of the mill house. Yes, it is totally all over the place. Good. That means the werewolf is here. We are getting close. But what if he is stronger in his human form? I am sure you can beat him. Even if you are in your human form, you still have your incredible super strength. He will have his super strength too. But both of you can fight equally. Just be careful not to push me into your brawl. Only you can fight him. Not me. I crossed my arms. Did you forget to bring your crossbow? Kevin slapped his forehead. Dope. I left it at home. Do we have time to go back? Kevin glanced at his wristwatch. We don't have enough time. The sun will set in an hour. We have to find the werewolf before he can change. Well, this is just totally stupid. We should have come here a lot sooner. Hey. I wasn't the one who got hungry and ordered a ton of burgers. We had plenty of time. I pointed my finger at him. Don't you dare blame me. It isn't my fault. I totally got hungry. I needed to eat or else I would go totally berserk. Well, if you listened before going out with your stupid boyfriend, you wouldn't have dash. I grabbed Kevin's neck and pushed him against the wall. Don't you dare call Mark my stupid boyfriend. Kevin choked while his face turned red like a tomato. How dare he? How he called my hunky stew, what a minute. What the hell was I doing? I dropped him and stepped back. Shaking in my shoes, my God. Are you okay? Kevin cleared his throat as he rubbed his neck. I'm fine. Oh God. I couldn't understand what came over me. The rage and bloodthirst totally took over me when Kevin insulted Mark. Yeah. He ticked me off. But not enough to make me want to kill him. I just snapped until I noticed my fingernails running into his flesh. Thank God I didn't tear out his throat. I only left red bruises on his neck. Just looking at those markings turned my blood cold. I'm totally sorry. I didn't know what came over me. Kevin approached me and rubbed my left arm. It's okay. It wasn't you. It was the beast inside you. Wow. Kevin was totally a nice guy. But I still felt like crap for trying to choke him to death. I wiped a tear off my face. We have to get the werewolf's blood before it will be too late for me. Kevin nodded with a determined expression. God. Please help me get the wolf's blood tonight. If I don't, more people could die without my intention. And Kevin could become my first victim here. We totally had to move our butts quickly. Huh? Something moaned like a wounded dog from a stairway. What was that? I acknowledged. Kevin gulped. I don't know. We stepped toward the stairway where darkness bloomed below the house. The moaning still echoed down there. Do you think we should go down there and check? I asked as my back shuddered. Yes, said Kevin. That could be the werewolf. Ah. Total creep factor attack. I don't think we should go down there. Come on. Jessica. Werewolves are supposed to be fearless. Yeah. But I am totally human right now. I am still afraid. Kevin rubbed his face. Do you want Selena to help you control your werewolf form? Yes. Yes. I totally do. Then pull your tail out of your butt and let's go down there. Geez. Get a hold of yourself. Jessica. If you don't go, Kevin will bug the hell out of you. I took a deep breath and nodded. Okay. We are going down there right now. Good girl. You are strong. God. I'm still not a dog. You dork. I stepped down the stairway first. The wooden steps creaked, causing me to sweat like a wet sponge. If the werewolf in human form has acute senses like me, then he totally knew we were coming. But what else could we do? We just needed to be ready in case he could pop out like a stupid jump scare in a horror movie. The creepy sound moaned again, coming from behind the wooden boxes. "Hello?" I called before Kevin covered my mouth. "Hush," he hissed. "You will give away our present." I glared into his eyes. "Hey. I will not get jumped from out of nowhere without knowing who we are dealing with. I can get him before he could dash. Oh. Crap." Something in the shadow lifted the barrel and tossed it toward us. "Look out." I pushed Kevin out of the way and ducked. The barrel flew over us and crashed against the wall. The grain fell to the floor from the broken barrel, and black bugs crawled away from it. Gross. I jumped to my feet and looked around on high alert. "Kevin. Are you dash?" Something smacked my head, knocking me into darkness as I fell next to Kevin's body. A note from Miles Trombley. "Sorry. I am taking time on this draft. Converting it is slow and there are lots of changes to make. But I am almost done. And the second book will be different. I can't wait." My head spun as I opened my eyes, feeling my wrists tied behind a solid rock on the floor. Kevin was next to me with ropes around his body against a tall stalagmite. "What the hell?" I stretched my left leg toward Kevin, tipping my toe against his left leg. "Kevin. Kevin." His head shook and opened his eyes. "Where are we?" I glanced around at the dome-shaped chamber cavern, connected by 2 tunnels. Stalactites hung above like sharp nails. Candles lined along the walls, giving out light to the entire cave. Geez. The cave was like a total place where cultists performed human sacrifices. I totally don't know. I shook my arms, but it was too tight. Kevin shook his arms too. "I can't reach the silver daggers in my pockets. But I don't feel them." I growled. "Who the total heck captured us?" As if someone heard my question, someone laughed from the left tunnel entrance. "Hello, sweetie," said a familiar voice. My heart dropped as a tall boy in a white tank top and short jean pants stepped into the chamber without shoes on. His black short hair looked messy. "Mark?" My bitter words slipped through my lips from my pumping lungs. "Congratulations." "Sweetie," my boyfriend answered with a devilish grin. "I never expected you would survive from me." "Oh. My God." I want to break loose and totally hug my hunky. But something doesn't look right about him. His mean stare felt like daggers piercing through my soul. "What do you mean?" Mark kneeled close toward me. The musty scent I followed was coming from him. "Well, there is something I never told you." "Sweetie," he whispered into my ear. "I am the werewolf." My eyes widened. "What?" Mark glared. "Do I have to repeat myself?" "I am the werewolf. Werewolf. Werewolf." My lips trembled. "BBB, but that can't be." Mark frowned. "Really? The werewolf attacked you when you left the car." "No, sweetie. I left the car to attack you." I shook my head. "No. Yes. 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 When I hid in the woods, I screamed to get your attention. Then I placed clues for you to follow until you reached my destination. By the time you reached my house, I let out the beast on you." He he he. Tears dripped down my cheeks. "But why?" Mark stroked my hair. "To test you. Sweetie. Ever since my father turned me, I have been lonely for a long time." "Your father?" Kevin asked. Mark stared at him. "Yes. Nerd. He is Mr. Roachshire. Or at least he was. After he left to go hunting, he came back as a strange man with a wolf bite mark. One night, he transformed into a wolf and killed my mother. My sister killed him with a silver blade. but he bit me and her before he died. When we turned, Betty and I couldn't control ourselves. He stared at the ground, grimacing as if he got a nasty taste in his mouth. Feeding the beast was the only thing we could do. So we hunted human prey for centuries. But the more we killed, the more we grew used to it. As a reward, we get to live longer. This was totally crazy. But I could see in his beautiful eyes that he was serious. Still, this was insane. "Where's your sister?" Kevin asked. Mark shook his head. "I don't know. But I don't care. Betty left me for her own path. But I stayed because it is easy to survive here." Geez. He never told me he had a sister. Based on his sharp look, I bet they didn't get along well. 2 werewolves would totally be a pain in the ass. "But you are still young," I said. "How could you?" Mark laughed. "I am immortal. Sweetie. It is one of my gifts from my father. So if he was born in the 1800s, that would mean oh. My God. You're actually an old man?" I screamed. Mark rolled his eyes. "Geez. Sweetie. I'm only 1,000 years old. But that is worse. So. You still enjoyed our sex. Right?" He winked his brows. "My body is still hotter than your grandfather." Oh God. My stomach was already tripping. I could puke now. But I didn't want to ruin my shoes or covered my legs in vomit. How could I be so stupid? Immortal or not, with a cute body, was still totally gross. I never understood why girls in romantic supernatural novels dated vampires or werewolves who were way too old for them. The authors and Reddy must be sick in the head. Don't think I was totally being hypocritical. I never read those books. Except my old friends. They kept bugging me to read them. And it only took one shopping spree for me to read one book. Yeah. Totally stupid books for girls who never got laid. I never believed a girl would fall in love with a 100-year-old man. No matter how handsome he was. Yes. Mark was handsome as ever. But I didn't know he was way too old for me. If my daddy found out about this, he would totally lose his shit. Thank God he wasn't here. Although he would totally help us. Still gross. But what are you going to do to us? If I stay out too long, my daddy will find me and kill you. Mark smiled. I doubt that. Sweetie. But I will not harm you. After all, you are now outside the food chain. A bean of sweat dripped down my forehead. What do you mean? Mark placed his hands on my shoulders. Like I was saying to test you. Since my sister left, I was lonely. Human beings don't make easy companions when they are my cattle. I wanted a mate. A female mate who I can grow close to. So I tried turning my first girlfriend. But she was too weak to bear the transformation. Each girl died after I bit them. Like my bite was poison to them. But if my father could turn my sister and I into wolves, so can I. I just have to keep biting my dates until I find the one. To make it easy for me to choose wisely, I tested them in the woods. Hunting them after I bit them to see if they can survive. He glared at Kevin. I even attacked couples to take their girlfriends for a chance. But they are all weak. Fragile. And stupid. All. He turned toward my face. Except you. Sweetie. His lips touched my right ear. You are the only one who won my big prize. I watched you. Waited for you. And now you are here to become my mate. We are going to make lots of puppies for our own pack. I was too frozen in his eyes as he laid his lips against mine. Kissing me hard. His fangs pressed on my lips like needles. But I kissed him back. Anyway. licking and touching his tongue as our breaths fogged over our panting faces. His male werewolf scent collided around me, embracing me in his heat. As my blood boiled, my inner sexual desire was ready to burst. He was right. I am his mate. And I wanted him inside me so we can wait. No. What was wrong with me? I swung my head off his face and spat out his saliva. No. Stop that. Mark stepped back, looking puzzled. Sweetie. I'm not you. Sweetie. You tried to kill me. But you won my test. Sweetie. What about the people you totally killed? And the girls you raped before slaughtering them? Mark bit his lower lip. They are nothing. All part of the food chain. I have been alone for a long time. Living among the sheep never changed that. All the girls I have been with were the same. They are just food to calm down my hunger. Unbelievable. Everything I thought about my hunky was a lie? Well, he totally wasn't my hunk anymore. You are sick. You think I enjoyed living in this cave and eating people? I had to enjoy it. It is the only way I can live. He touched my chin. But I don't have to do this alone. You are the same as me now. If you didn't escape, you wouldn't be here with me. I snarled. I am nothing like you. Mark pointed his finger at Kevin. Do you think weaklings like him will accept who you are? What would you do if the entire town discovers you are a monster? Would you still live with them? I stared at the ground, holding back my tears. Yes. I feared what would happen if everyone knew my werewolf issue. Not only my dad would totally freak out. All my friends would kick me off the team. Maybe the entire town would chase me into the woods with torches and pitchforks. I don't want to live like an animal outside human civilization. My parents raised me as a human being. And I totally enjoyed that. Why should I give it all up? And I still have the chance to control my beast. Thanks to the Princess of Darkness. Mark can totally suck it. I can manage that. Mark snickered. Then prove it to me. From his back pocket, he pulled out a knife and cut the rope off my wrists. He grabbed me and pushed me to the ground. I rose on force to sprint. But he placed his foot on my back, pushing me down to the ground. Geez. I couldn't get back up. It felt like an anvil was on my back. It's nighttime now. Sweetie. Mark whispered. If you can avoid eating your nerd boy, I will let you go. If not, my point is true. No. I pounded the ground. Let me go. Let me go. Mark laughed. You think you can control the beast inside of you? Show me. Without the seal, I couldn't prove Mark was wrong. The moment I turn, Kevin will be a total goner. All my fears of eating people would totally come true. I would lose everything I loved. And the normal people will hunt me down forever. I needed to resist. But the pain shot through her body. And the heat rose inside my bungling muscles. Oh no. The beast was coming out.